Hello, welcome to another Cycle Tech Review video. Today we've got a e-pump, an electric mini pump. I don't know what to call it, but it's from a company called AIRBANK, and this is their Pocket Pro smart bicycle tire inflator. AIRBANK make a range of other inflators for beach equipment, car tires, all kinds of things. This is their sort of bicycle related one. If you're not sure what an e-pump is, well, it's an electric pump. So you may be used to, if you're riding your bike, either classic pumps, or this is a mini pump. This is a manual mini pump, whereas that's an electric one. Obviously, we started off, when we all started riding back in the day, with much larger hand pumps. These mini pumps came in, sort of around about the time of the mountain bike, I guess, really. So sort of late 80s, 90s, pumps started to get a bit smaller, so they were easier to carry. Traditionally, your frame pump, your larger pump, would sit on your bicycle frame, but then we decided, no, we want them smaller, so we don't have to have an ugly pump on our bicycle. Mini pumps are great. They sit in your back pocket for when you need them. The only problem is they are mini. That is your stroke. So there's not a lot of air going in there. So, I mean, various other designs had like telescoping barrel, so you could get a bit more. But the problem with them is that you're pumping like a maniac. And generally you get to about 60, 70, 80 PSI, which back in the day when we were riding on thinner tyres, 23s and 25s, was just about enough to get you home. Any higher and just you were dead. You were pumping like a man thing. Then the CO2 canister pump came in. There's various versions of this. You have a CO2 carbon dioxide bulb. Is that a bulb? Would we call that a canister? It's sealed at the end. There are various different types. This one from, not sure who it's from actually. It's that old. Goes inside there. You screw it down all the way. It pierces the canister, and then you squeeze the trigger, and bam! You get an instant blast of air. They were great. The only problem is when you release compressed gas, it's incredibly cold, which is why this one has a separate body you can hold onto so you don't freeze your hand. Sometimes valves could freeze and gas would go everywhere. And then of course at the end of it, you have, I mean, it's not too bad. It's a metal canister, so that is recyclable. But yeah, you've got to get rid of that. And you still occasionally will see these just chucked by the side where naughty cyclists haven't taken them home and they've just chucked them on the side. But they were quite good. They were instant. They went up. The only problem is if you used them with tubeless, the CO2 being so cold could cause the sealant inside the tyre to clog, basically, to freeze and clump up and become worthless. So there could be an issue. A lot of sealants then basically start to change the formulation so that CO2 wouldn't cause that issue. Then a while ago, e-pumps started to come out. We'd had electric pumps for cars, inflatables, camping and stuff like that, and then people thought, let's shrink them down so cyclists can use them. So this is the Pocket 2, like I say, from AIRBANK. It's let's give you the details off the back. The actual, when we get inside, I'll do a proper unboxing in a sec, is 70 by 29 by 50 millimeters, so fit inside your jersey pocket or your backpack quite easily. Weighs 130 grams. It's got a 420 mega ampere hour battery, whatever that means. It says the max pressure it will go up to is 120 psi. Nowadays with bigger fatter tires, we tend not to use those high pressures. I mean, it's good that it can go that high. Generally a lot of us are riding 28s, 30s, 32s, and at lower pressures. Obviously lower pressures but more of it, so maybe that's good. I think they said on a 25 mil tire, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, 25 mil tire up to 80 psi, it can do 4 times on one charge, and to recharge it will take about 30 minutes because it's USB-C rechargeable. I use these a lot. They're very handy, not only when you puncture. Also, I ride a lot of cyclocross. When doing a sighting lap, you're sort of changing the pressures on your tyres. It's fine letting some out, But when you want to put some in and you want to know how much you've put some in, this is quite handy because it has a built-in pressure gauge. So I find it handy for off-road adventures where I'm changing my tyre pressures, like I say, during a cycling lap, mountain bike or cyclocross. And you're sort of going around thinking, do I want more, do I want less? One of these is quite handy because you can see how much you're putting in. Yeah, so they are useful. Doesn't mean mini pumps or normal hand pumps, they're not going to go anywhere soon. I mean, these things just work, don't run out of charge, don't run out of gas. They work. They are just a bit of a faff, especially on a cold winter's night when you're coming home from commuting or training and you just want to get the tyre back up to pressure. That can be a real pain. Whereas one of these, it's easy. And I mean, I'll do a timer one at some point just to see how quick they are, but they do put air back in very quickly, and then you're off and running again, which is great. So let's get inside and see what you get with the AIRBANK Pocket 2 Pro. Okay, here's the AIRBANK Pocket 2 Pro. There's your packaging, all your sort of technical information on the back there. Nicely done. You can see what's going on. Let's hope it's nice and easy to get open. Pull the tray out, that's good. We've got a AIRBANK user manual there telling you how to use it in various languages. That's good. Always read the instructions. Now, I've seen this before. Right, you have a little Ziploc bag there, and that's to keep it in, because there you go. See, that's the size of the packaging, but that's the size of your actual inflator. Now, the reason for that packaging, just show you there what the actual Pocket Pro looks like. It's got a nice sort of shiny aluminium finish there. There's your front. Now, the reason for that is you've got your charging port here. That's also the air intake, and basically that's a way for water to get in. Well, I suppose also through the pump inlet itself. So if you're out and about and it's likely to get wet, keep that in there, keep it nice and safe. Right, now you can see it's got this soft silicone coating on. Now you can remove it, and let's do that now just so you can see. And the reason for that, there we go, comes off. The reason for the coating is that you've got a little pump in here that's a mighty pump, and once it starts going, it can generate quite a bit of heat. So the silicone is to basically protect your hands. And now you can see you've got this nice, I'm going to say that end feels like it might actually be aluminium body. Very nice. You've got the AIRBANK logo there, some more CE warnings on the side there, and here's your on off. So you've got at the top here on off, and then a plus and minus. So a press. Let's see if it's got any charge on board. There you go, it's got some charge on board. In fact, it's 3 dots there, so it's got full charge. It's got a PSI indication there, and you've got plus and minus, so you put in what pressure you want. And you see you can go down in singles, press and hold, and it whizzes down. Like I say, you're generally not going to be that high, are you? Up and down. And I think to change from PSI to bar, let's have a look. There you go, press both plus and minus, you're now in bar, back to PSI. There you go. And then usually, let's try it, one press should turn it on. That's very loud. And a long press will turn it off. There you go. So that's the inside. Here's your, like I say, here's your silicone cover. So that will just protect it from all the knocks and bangs, but also protect your hands once it starts to heat, or if it starts to heat up, depending on how long you're using it. Now in the box here we have some accessories. We have got, let's have a look what we've actually got, just so you can see. You got a little extension tube here, so depending on how accessible your valve is, if you need a bit of extra room, you got that. You've got your charger cable, USB-C. We've all got loads of those now. If your kids come asking you to pump up their football, you've got one of those ball needle valve things which will screw in. Oh no, it doesn't screw directly, and I think it might screw into the adapter. You've got some adapters here for changing to various, let me just show you those. I think these ones here are if you're, I think it comes set up for Presta, and then if you want to change to Schrader, you'll swap those. And that one, I'm not sure, I'm going to have a look on the instructions, but that's another adapter. It doesn't screw straight in to that one, so we'll have to look at the instructions basically for that. Let's see if it screws into, now it will screw straight into there. I think that looks like it could be a Presta adapter. So I think what we've got here is, yeah, that's for Schrader. So this is your extension that somehow will screw into here. There you go. That screws into there. And then that will do a Schrader valve. And then if you want to do your Presta, you screw that in. So, and like I said, I haven't read the instructions yet. This is literally just taking it straight out of the box. Like I said, that looks like an adapter to go to Schrader. So I presume if we take this off, yeah, that comes off quite easily. And you can knock that out and put this other adapter in. So I'll put the preview up and I'll explain what all the bits are. But for the moment, this is just like looking at what's in the box. And as you can see, it was quite noisy. Let's see which way around this goes. Let's see how easy this is to get back on, shall we? You've got your hole here, which is going to fit over the outlet. Yeah, outlet. What would you call it? Yeah, it goes on quite quick. I mean, it's a tight fit, but it's not difficult. Sorry, I'm knocking the camera there. There we go. That slides over there. It's got a slight lip on it so that it fits over the end. Don't know if you can see that. See, it's got a slight lip that fits over the end of the, so helping with the waterproofing, I guess, as well. That fits over there, that fits over there, and it's got a little cut out here for the charger point as well, so that your charger will fit in nicely. And there you go. So the buttons are actually covered. So again, I guess that's giving it a bit of extra moisture protection. But that's the AIRBANK Pocket 2. I'll put a tyre up and we'll see how quickly it pumps them up. Okay, so we'll do a quick test inflate, but before we do that, I've had a look at the instructions and I'll go through the whole swapping these little seals. So you get one already in the pump, and then we just wiggle it out. You've got a little rubber seal, and basically it's got two sides. Small hole, big hole. That is for your Presta if you're running Presta, and that's for if you're running Schrader. So if you're running Presta, you would put that facing outwards, pop that in there. So you see the small hole, that will form a seal around your Presta valve. And if you are running Schrader, you would pop it out. It's fairly straightforward. I just got clumsy fingers. So now you have, oh, can you see that? You have basically a bigger aperture for the larger Schrader valve to fit into, and then you have this little pillar, they call it. So you can see it's got holes there drilled through and a pillar that sticks out. So that goes into the center there. Well, there you go. So it's sitting up there, and now you've got the small hole facing inwards and the big hole facing outwards. Screw that back in. That's fairly quite forward. Oh, sorry, knocking the camera. So now you can see that little pillar will press against the Schrader valve and let you get pumping. And then if you want to swap back to Presta, you remove the pillar, swap the seal around, and away you go. And then that means you've got a spare seal if you need it, and your little pillar, which we'll put over there. Okay, I've got a tyre here. It's 32 Cinturato Evo TLR that we're trying out from Pillarelli at the moment for a winter tyre. it's got a Fillmore valve, so it's a tubeless setup, and it's got one of Fillmore valves, so it's on an alternative to a Schrader that's likely to clog. So let's see how it goes. 32. Let's put it on 60. Now, when these get going, they are quite noisy, so I won't talk. But if I can, I'll put a little timer up so you can see, get an idea of how long it takes. All right, press it down. There we go. Well, it actually said 59, so it stopped to 1 psi short. You can see it's gone down to just 1 now. Now, that was just with the factory charge in it, and I have been playing around with it. I've pumped up a couple of tyres. So what I'll do when we get to test, I'll see how many charges you can get out of one tyre, one charge rather. So that went up. Like I say, I will have put a timer up so you get an idea of how long it takes. Couple of things to be aware of. It is a little bit warm, not much, but there is a bit of warmth there. If you're running TPU tubes and they have the plastic valves, AIRBANK do suggest that you use the extension, simply because the heat generated inside here may melt. Sorry, I can't get my words out. May melt your TPU valve because they're generally plastic. So they suggest fitting the extension, using that'll let some of the heat dissipate and make it less likely that you melt your valve, which would obviously be a bad thing. So there you go. AIRBANK Pocket 2 Pro. You see, it's like a handy dandy little device. I mean, there are various versions of these e-pumps out that come in different sizes. This is quite sort of medium sized one. Like I say, I'll keep an eye on the charge, because I have used it a couple of times and it's just what came charged from the factory, so I don't know how good a charge it's had. And I'll do a couple of tyres and let you know how long it actually, or how many tyres I can actually pump up, because you know, you only want one puncher, but you want to be prepared just in case you have two, don't you? Okay, so there you go guys, Pocket 2 Pro from AIRBANK. Take a look at the preview. See you later, bye.